Well, let me introduce Mel. We'll just jump right in. Um, can I do that? Is that let me
For
just
sure.
sure. Okay, great, 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 good. So Mel Melanie Salvatore August here with me is one of my favorite people on the planet. She and I have been in the teacher training world together for a long time, a long time. So we share baby yoga roots together from our origins in New York City, back in Yoga Works in the Ishta lineage, Yoga Works lineage, both of those places. It's kind of where we both started to plant our trees, and then our trees kind of grew these different branches, and we focused on different things over the years. But both of us became teacher trainers and really committed to excellent skill building. Mel is the author of several books. Oh my gosh, there was Kitchen Yoga was the first one, Fierce Kindness, Yoga to Support Immunity, and now she's working on another one. So lots in the works. She's been an excellent mentor. She moved from New York City to the Bay Area many moons ago and has been an incredible influence and mentor to people there. She's a student of the tradition and has studied really interesting aspects of the lineage like Dinacharya and Marva points that she brings into the teacher training, which is very unique to this program and very unique to her and her chanting. And she's just all around an amazing human being. And one of the things hold on, one more thing. One of the things that she excels at also is that there's a richness in her feedback, in her ability to help people stand in their voice and in their teaching presence. And part of that comes from her depth actually in the arts, in the theater arts world. Again, many moons ago, but that stays with you, which really has some wonderful techniques and strategies for helping people to learn to public speak and stand in their power. And one of the things we like to help people do is to really align themselves with their own mission, vision, and values. And so that's a part of this program as well. Welcome.
Wow. Amazing. Okay. Thank you
So fun to introduce you.
for
It's
that beautiful
fun.
introduction. And yes, Rachel, as you may already know, is such a masterful teacher. And just we have been studying and branching out over many, many years. And one of the things that constantly impresses me about Rachel is not only her mastery of whatever she's teaching, but her mastery as a student. Like she's voracious. She's constantly studying. There's never like a point where Rachel's not filling her own cup. And also in very kind of amazing, in the anatomy and the functional anatomy and in the philosophy and in the deep classics philosophy. So Rachel also has written a whole group of books. You know what I was just looking at the other day is Yogi's
Yeah.
Guide to Dating. How practical as my niece just was on Hinge and met her, it's just like just your ability to take philosophy and make it really livable and practical. And so you are a dear, one of my best friends and someone who consistently inspires me. And she brings such specificity and fierce um, excellence to the training. Also, Rachel created all of the training. So, all the aspects of this high level, like how do you learn and how do you learn in the most multi-modality way you have created, Rachel? So super
All
inspired.
right.
Love you.
I'll introduce Gil since he's right now giving a talk. So we're on the Nerve Tour and we've been touring around the US and Canada for the last year. It's been over a year. It's been over a year that we've been on the road. Anyway, so he's actually teaching right now, but Gil has created the Integral Anatomy for Yogi section of our 300 hour, which is amazing. He has such a depth of knowledge and is such an amazing educator. And so he and I kind of co-created that. So he's in the lead seat on that. And then I help to translate some of those things practically into the yoga practice, which I think it's like, why learn anatomy unless it's practical, unless you can feel it or do something with it, transmit it. Like let's make it relevant to our practice and our embodiment. So
Special.
but he's
Having
yeah he's
the program is elite.
yeah he's amazing. It's true. Yes. Yeah. So So where should we start, Mel? Should we talk about the structure? Should we talk about the content? Should
Yeah.
we ask for questions? If you two have any questions you want to voice out or put in
Yeah,
the
if you
chat,
don't mind saying hi,
yeah,
Wayne, since we are like, so focused on you right now with your
sorry.
lovely camera on. So that, it is what brings you here, and do you have like a hot question for us? And then we're going to go into the nuts and bolts of the training. Now, yes, trying to read your lovely body language.
There.
Alice. So my name is Elaine Ting. Hello. I'm living in Los Angeles area, which is in Pasadena area. I just finished yoga training 200 hour last year.
Mhm.
And I've been doing yoga for a long time for just my own exercise. And a few years ago, I just wanted to learn a little deeper so I can do yoga better for myself, not thinking to teach other people.
Yeah.
I can just do it for me, not getting hurt. I just wanted to know more. And through 2 hour teacher training, I actually learned a lot more than I was expected, like story of yoga, philosophy of yoga, which I never actually thought about. I was just trying to learn the proper alignment so I don't get hurt, so I can, exercise like better. But through that 200 yoga training, yoga is not exercise. I mean, it is exercise, but there's a more into it. So I took a little year break because I had to take care of my kids
Mhm.
for their high school application and stuff. But yes, I'm here to kind of want to know, is it 300 hours something that I can do?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I can learn more.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Mm.
Love that. And welcome. Welcome. Where did you do your 200 hour? Just curious. Yeah.
It's called Sierra Madre. I did it with a Renee. It's in Sierra Madre.
Wonderful.
Mm.
Wonderful.
I
Sounds
think
like
you
a
guys
good
are so
program.
far away.
Yeah. It sounds like if you were getting yoga philosophy and you were getting the big view, that it sounds like it was a good program. So that's
Yes,
wonderful.
yes.
Mm. Great. Um, Colleen, do you want to say
Yes.
anything?
Well, I finally got it to, I took you off of mute. I didn't know, because I'm in the car and I haven't done this on the phone before. Yes, I do have some questions. Um, I don't really know how many hours I have altogether, but I did get my 200 with Temple of Kriya Yoga a long, long time ago. I also finished John Friend's program, but he wouldn't certify me because I refused to talk like him in spirals and loops. So I said, see ya. And then, and then I did Relax and Renew with Judith Laster. And I'm from a time when all the old teachers, Patricia Walden and all of those guys, I trained with a lot of them, but they weren't really keeping track of stuff back then. And you and I had talked about like trying to figure out a way that I could get those on Yoga International. And so anyway, long story short is I've had a lot of training, but I've always taught pretty much for the older population. I wanted to take this because I feel like I needed more of the business side of things because I really am lacking that. And I also want a deep dive in anatomy. I want to know a lot more about anatomy and fascial. I trained with Tom Myers, but I really want to know a lot more about the fascia. Okay, I took some notes. Let me look here. Um, so bone density, the elder population.
Mm.
So I did not know if this is where I need to go or if I should go take some specialty courses.
Mm.
But I love you, Rachel. I just don't know why. I just really vibe with you. I watch a lot of your stuff and I love your quirky personality. Um, and I think you're extremely smart. So I don't know if this will just be like another teacher training I've taken. I feel like you're different. Will I be relearning everything I've already learned? Or will I be getting some new things that can, jettison me up to a little bit, you know, I feel, you know, what it is, Rachel, I feel like I have the confidence. I've been teaching for 34 years, but I feel like things are different now. It's different. There's more studios everywhere. There, there's just a lot of options for people. And I feel like I kind of need to rein myself in because I do it all. Like I want to bring the fat work in. I want to help my students who have all this bone density stuff. You know, my private lessons, they will have, as you know, different diseases. I want to be able to help people. So therefore, I've learned a little about a lot of things. So I think I need to be kind of reined in. And my demographic, yeah. So my demographic right now pretty much is 40s to 80s. And my private lessons have ranged all over the place from teenagers with eating disorders to people that are having 20 seizures a day, from trigeminal nerve. I mean, on and on and on. So anyway, help.
Yeah, Colleen, I
That's
think
a
you're gonna
lot.
love. Yeah, well, I think actually you're gonna love meeting Mel today too because she does a ton of adaptive stuff and like she does some yoga stuff. Mel teaches with weights because she's like people need the bone density. Like this is what
Yes,
they need,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
exactly,
I think,
exactly.
yeah. So I think you guys have like that. There's similar issues cropping up that we're all seeing as we're getting older and working with an older population. It's like, okay, Warrior Two is great, and also, how do I make this even more adaptive for my target audience? Right? Now, anything you want to say
Exactly.
about that?
Well, I love to hear all that, Colleen, and it's so exciting. I mean, you really, it sounds like you've
A
studied
lot.
some wonderful teachers and I think that one of the things that I, know that we offer is like a mentorship, like a way that it's not like there's just pieces put together here, that we really are cohesive together and we, arm in arm, we walk beside you and say, okay, what is this for you? And how does this come together for your offering? So there is very much
Exactly.
coaching
Exactly.
mentorship to the months that I sounds
Because
like.
I feel like I'm taking qigong into my practice and some physical therapy moves, some myofascial, but I want to be cohesive, and I feel like in all that I'm a little lost in how to market myself, right?
Ah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yep. Yeah, and we will study. So this is a good transition to, and hello, I do not know how to pronounce your name. Mojgan?
Yeah.
Moigan, do you know Mel?
Hi, Moji. Love you.
Moji. Oh, okay, great. Um, so we'll yeah, let's transition a little bit just into talk. We'll talk about what the I'm just gonna mute you, Colleen. We're gonna talk about what
Yeah,
like let's talk about the program.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll start. Let's start with a little bit of. I'll do the structure because that kind of leads us into the content. I think real well. So the program is structured to be taken in either 6 months or 12 months, and you can choose. And the way that you choose is whether or not you choose to offset the anatomy. So the anatomy is 55 hours, which includes 6 meetings with me and Gil, which is part of our weekend stuff. And so you can choose if it's like if life is intense, you got a lot going on, then you can choose to offset that 6 month and take the anatomy kind of separately. And you could take it before, or you could take it after the quote unquote yoga section. So that's kind of how we make it a little bit more feasible. It's just like a time management question. If you've got time, which is the time that we're talking is probably I don't know, it's somewhere between 7 to 10 hours a week is what the program is. If you offset the anatomy, it's a little less. And so the way that we structure the program is to combine 3 different pieces to make it we try to combine it being really flexible so you can fit it into your life, but also being fairly rigorous. So this is not like, oh, I just want to kind of get my 300. This is like I want to get my 300. It's like we're serious.
Transformation.
Like we're serious. So
Lovingly. Yeah.
yeah, lovingly. So the content is there's asynchronous weekly content. That means every week online. And that's stuff that I've created. So we look at theming, we do business, we do mission, we do values, we do online teaching. There's also how to run retreat like business questions. So there's this online asynchronous piece, and we tune in every week with weekly discussions and little weekly assignments, and that's designed to be like, okay, a little chunk every week that I do. In addition to the weekly stuff, you come to me or Mel, come to our classes. Um, so two classes a week. And that helps to also support part of the online work, which is in sequencing. So we look at peak post sequencing, common sense, really nuts and bolts, anatomically driven sequencing to a peak pose. And so as part of that, you take hopefully live, you can take a bunch of them recorded if you need to, but it's so much better to be live with Mel or with me in the classes that we teach, because then we can participate and give you feedback and be present with you. And it's also community building. So that's kind of the weekly chunks. Then once a month, we have a weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday, 9 to 3:30 Pacific time, where you're online with us. So we have a Zoom weekend once a month for 6 months. Mel does Saturdays, I do Sundays. And that content, well, Mel, why don't you talk about what you cover on Saturdays, and then I'll tell them what I cover on Sundays.
And I just highlight too on the live stream classes that you take with us. I have a couple adapted accessible classes, chair classes, things like that. So you're getting the whole peak pose, and you're also getting accessible yoga within there, and pranayama and meditation. So it's all in there, and there's a lot for
A
you
lot.
to. Mhm. And then my weekends, we focus on what I call dinacharya, Ayurvedic practices for thriving. And within that is svadhyaya, right? And philosophy and energetics. I teach Marma Chikitsa, which is basically acupressure therapy, but it's really understanding the energy body, and then how to, whether it's using a stone to massage the energy body or key points, right? So we work that throughout the weekends, and then practice teaching. So taking, everybody's coming from kind of different lineages and coming in, and the main questions is it helpful? Is it of service, right? Whatever it is you are trying to teach your students. And then is it clear? So what are you gaining? What are you losing? So we're really working in your practice teaching on context, so it's not like a drilling of this is how a robot teach. It's really live in person, and we're coaching. And so that's a big part of what we do together: energetics, habits, and then really the art of teaching, to get each of us on our voice in the most authentic, powerful way, and always asking, is this helpful? Am I being of service? What am I gaining? What am I losing? Because every choice is going to give us something different. So it's not very, it's not easy. It's a challenge for sure, because we're really looking at like, what are we getting here? And we're also losing something. So there's a lot of conversation in there, and with some that tears and like, oh, but this is what I'm trying to do, but I realize I'm getting in my own way. So it's more, I'd say, transformational in an emotional sense, our time together, and it's fun, and we come a long way.
Yeah. And Mel and I, this is where Mel and I, our shared roots in Ishta and in Yoga Works really comes out, because we speak the same language. Like it's about getting each person to step authentically into their teaching voice with clarity and purpose, intentionality. And also there's some real practical skill building that goes into that, like direct language, origin of movement. So there's skills that underpin that, which we can pull out and be like, okay, this is your intention, but how can we make you more powerful? And Mel really does, it's amazing coaching with that, right?
Thank you. And
Um,
pranayama and meditation every time we're together. So we work a whole slew of skills. So by the end of the training, to have you very comfortable teaching pranayama and meditation thoroughly. Um,
the Sundays with me. So we kind of touch base on some of the asynchronous work we've done. So there's thematic work that we do, there's value work. One of the things that's important to us, one of the threads of this 300-hour tapestry is living your yoga and walking your talk. And so Mel does that with her dinacharya, and we have some work that we do. It's like, how do we, in order to step into our voice as teachers, we have to actually step into ourselves as humans in the way that we live our lives. And so we touch on some of those things. The philosophy we do the Upanishads. It's like the origins, going back to the origins of yoga. Mel touches a bit on the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So if you need a refresh on those, she'll make sure to weave those in. Um, Other stuff that we do, I review sequencing. So we do sequencing work, and we also do some skill building of really key skills, like how do you teach to component parts, bringing, anatomy and alignment into our actual teaching in an effective way. So there's some clarification there. Some business stuff that we do. Um, yeah, and then I have everybody do presentations on online teaching. So
You're very
for better for worse, you are
yeah.
compelled to figure out how, if you're going to teach online, because it's such a useful hurdle to overcome. If you're terrified of teaching online, I want to get you past that so that it can be part of what you want to do. And this has to do with business. Because for some people, the tech is really a limitation. I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to upload. I don't know what that looks like.
White space. Mm-hmm.
And if we get you through that in the training and we up level you if you're already doing it so that it can be part of what you offer as a teacher, since it's such a useful tool for sustainability as a yoga professional.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some of the stuff that we do. And then, so that's what we've got. We have our weekends, you have your asynchronous weekly work, and then there's also a 6-day retreat in person at Mel's beautiful homestead. There it is. Wonderful. And that is super fun. And we do a lot in that 6 days. There's practice teaching to level up, and there's hands-on assists. I do philosophy, I do the Mahabharata, which is my new obsession, and the Bhagavad Gita. So we weave that in there. Um,
Yeah.
Mel does
Oh,
a
I'm
bunch of
sorry.
stuff.
Just the all the skills that are harder online, right? So we go much deeper into inversions, much deeper into bigger back bends, things that we have tons of props here. So the things that we can start to adapt and use a lot more props, where you're using 2 straps and 4 blocks and 3 blankets and, all these different accessible things. So we do that thoroughly here in that week. What were you going to say, Rachel? Sorry to jump in on you.
Oh, I was just going to say, because Mel does her Marma points and goes into adaptive yoga, and we look at, and in the practices they are adaptive. So even though and we're keen to do like the inversions and the big back bends, but they're adaptive as well. So you get to see like how you can have a really rich kind of challenging practice, but also that one that's accessible into these bigger poses. Shoulder stand is a big one. We want everybody to walk away and feel comfortable knowing, what's at risk and how do you prop it for people and how do you do it and how do you teach it. So that's important, I think. So that's kind of the lay of the program structure. So 6 months or 12 months, asynchronous weekly, monthly online Zoom, and then a 6-month retreat, which happens in May for the January to July folks, or October for the July to December folks. So
There's
yeah,
some flexibility. If you can't go to the one retreat, it's consistent. So then you can go to the other one. That's fine.
yeah. And I'm really excited. I should also mention, we take max 12 people in this program
Okay.
because it's so personal. And because we want to create that connected relationship with each one of you and for you with each other. And so this isn't like 30 person there's like 12 max, you know. Um, and we really enjoy getting to know our students and being
Mentor.
connected through the process. And everyone's different. It's amazing. Like some people come out and they're like, I'm teaching, to our seniors and to our elders. And some people come out and they're like, I want to teach, prenatal. So it's all unique. We want everybody to thrive and to really have an opportunity to unearth their own voice. So those be the nuts and bolts, I think.
It's intense and it's fun.
Yeah.
We are very playful people by nature, both Rachel and I. And so we always look, and then we also know that oftentimes we heal through this process. And so it gets intense, but then we heal through joy and we heal through finding the light. And that's not planned. That only comes between the magic of being present with each other. And I think that our live streams are very much like that, and our in person for sure, very. You just don't know what's going to happen, and it's something beautiful always does, really.
Yeah. So, I think those are kind of the big picture practical nuts and
Yeah.
bolts. Oh, I should also mention on Sunday, the other thing that's included in our Sunday days is integral anatomy. So we bring Gil on for an hour of our Sunday time together to get him in person, which is amazing. He only does it because he's my partner. He does not do this for me, but I'm like, come and sit with me. And so we get him. Yeah. So usually, so that's really special. Um,
Yeah. And
so, so questions that anything specific coming up that we can answer. Um, Something practical is that we'll offer you guys and you guys who are watching at home for a week, really, and for a week we'll add another $50 off kind of our big discount. So I think right now there's a $400 discount, which is like the early bird for our January or for our July. So if you're interested, but you're like January doesn't work, July, you're welcome to enroll for the July now as well. And so I'll send out a little special discount code to y'all so you can get 450 off. And really, to be totally honest, it's just a way to get, to excite people to sign up so we can get y'all committed. And we're happy to do that.
it's
So
almost full, aren't we, Rachel? Almost full for
yeah, we're getting pretty full in January. So, and our group is amazing. I'm so excited about our January group. We have yeah, some really special people in that program, like some powerhouse women. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be on. So I think January will be really fun.
but they all
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know how
that's
it is
true.
when you did your 200, like it attracts what we do, it attracts usually, usually attracts a really special person. So that's what makes it extra fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, any particular questions? Yeah, Elaine.
I have a few questions. So 52-hour anatomy class, is that a 6 months just anatomy or
Right.
you guys gonna have something between?
Well, so the way that the anatomy works is that it's a 55-hour course. So it has I have a weekly schedule for it. And once a month we meet with Gil, which is part of those 300-hour weekends. Um, and you can choose to either do all the yoga and the anatomy at the same time, which just it's great. It just means that it's going to be a 10-hour week. So you have to have 10 hours a week to give to the program, which is great if you have it, but if it's too much, you could do the yoga from January to July and then do the anatomy from July to December. And so it's just taking that, and then it's only yoga for that. But we will give you access. We give you access to classes so you can continue to train. But that would just be you just focus on the anatomy and just come to that 1 hour on Sunday where we have Gil. So that would be a way of making it a little bit lighter on the asynchronous content if you wanted to. Does that make sense? Did I explain that okay?
I'm getting
Yeah.
it. But I'm sure your website also has explanations. I will read it through it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one was you just mentioned that we will have 8 lessons weekly. Is that right? Like eight
Eight less.
recorded Zoom video that
Oh,
it's like a recorded video that I'm studying or
so your weekly, let me pull up the syllabus, you guys. I think this will make it a little
sorry.
bit. No, no, it's good. This is good. I should have linked the syllabus anyway, so this
Don't
is a
worry about
great idea.
it.
Let me
Asynchronous
go find
is
it.
basically on demand content that you do at your own pace, though there's an accountability each week to stay on top of it. Yeah. So that's asynchronous.
Also asynchronous for a month, not a weekly, right?
6 months. Yeah. So there's asynchronous content. Every week there's asynchronous content and it runs the entire 6 months.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna put this, this is the schedule. Here's the schedule for January in the chat. And I'm also gonna grab the syllabus, share, copy link, and pop this over here. And then I'm just gonna share my screen for a
Right.
moment here, to show you the schedule. And I think maybe this will help make it clear what the obligations are. So let me just share. Here we go. All right. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Get
Okay,
bigger
great.
if you can.
Bigger? I don't know if I need
Yeah.
bigger.
Like go to the percentage. Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm here. I'll do it this way. Is that good? Is
Yay.
that better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So here's how it works. Here's our weekends that we're doing Zoom. These are Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. So these are the ones you'd mark them on your calendar. You come and hang out with us from 9 to 3:30 on Zoom every day. An in-person retreat, we'd want you to come to this. This is the in-person retreat, May 12th to 17th.
Northern
And then
California.
in California. And then weekly online courses and practices. So your online work starts January 12th. So here, this is kind of an estimate. So these little numbers here in parentheses are how long I think it's going to take you to do this online coursework. I separated the anatomy into a different column just so you could say, some people say, I'm going to do the anatomy, which is online pre-recorded. I'm going to do it with all the other yoga online pre-recorded and do it all at the same time. Some people will separate it and do it in the subsequent 6 months. And so I've estimated your total weekly time over here. Oh, and then practices. So you're practicing with me and Mal, either 2 classes a week with us. So this over here in the far right column is how much time I expect you'll be spending on the program. So you can see it's somewhere between 6 and 11 hours per week. The retreat obviously is going to be more. So this kind of gives you a sense of this is the online pre-recorded. So pre-recorded is the same thing as asynchronous. You do it at your own pace, but every week, even though you're being flexible about when you do it, you have to do it every week. So the sequencing and the theming you can see is what we start on, and then we go into business of yoga, and
Which helps
then
you be accountable. So that
it keeps you
accountability
organized.
can just kind of run on, and you know how you lose track of some of the asynchronous stuff. You're like, I'm signed up for a bunch of things. This has an accountability portion all along the way to keep you engaged.
Keep you on track.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the asynchronous, the pre-recorded content that you do every week. This stuff, which is the yoga stuff, plus the anatomy, if you're doing the anatomy at the same time. Yeah. And then I think so those are the sections of it. And then that's it. And then we're done by June 16th.
For the online classes with you guys, like 2 times a week, do you know what time? Because I still have 2 kids that I have to drop them off and pick them up.
Yeah.
I want to make sure.
Mel has a ton of classes. Mel, what's your schedule looking like? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
You can take any of my classes from Tuesday through Friday, and sometimes there's a Saturday, and they run at 11 a.m. California.
Oh, okay, so we have more choices of the time schedule.
Yes, and then they're on demand. So I have 400 classes plus on my library, and I know Rachel has too. So if you can't take live, we want you to take live as many as you can. Then you can do on demand. Mm-hmm.
Right now, my online classes are Mondays and Thursdays, usually at what just changed. It was at 6 a.m. Pacific time, and now it's going to be at 8 a.m. But what I'll do, because I have more flexibility and I won't be on the road next January, is I'll email people too. I'm going to email the people in our 300 and say, okay, what times can most people come? To try to make it at a good time for most people, or to try to vary it so at least sometimes people can come live, because I prefer to see everybody in person. So because I'll be home next spring, I'll have more ability to put them at different times. So that's a good question.
And one more, this is last one. For the retreat, so I need to stay that area, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And we do have some resources to help you get oriented. And also by the time, oftentimes because we've created a community, there may be one or more other student that you could share an Airbnb with or something like that. So that often happens.
Sure. So it's 5 days, right? 5 or 6 days? 6 days. And which area is it? Is it San Francisco area or?
It's just south of San Francisco. So it's the Hayward Hills.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. I need to partner with my husband to
Of course. Yep,
driving
Yeah.
duty for my kids.
for sure. And I have three boys, so I totally get it. Yeah. School pickup, drop off, all different schools. Whew.
I
It's
know.
going to give you a lot of time to prepare.
Colleen, did you have a question or a thought?
Yes, and I'm sorry about all that moving around. I was in the car and now I'm out. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I do. So my thing is how much time can I devote to it? Because I just opened up a new studio and it's just a lot. There's a lot going on. I'm teaching a retreat next year in Tuscany. And so that's the first through the sixth. And so I'm just trying to figure out like, maybe it'll be easy for me. Maybe I have a lot of it down. Now, the sacred text, I don't really delve into those super deep or anything like that. I really don't bring them into the class. I'm not opposed to them bringing it in the class. It just seems like the students that I've drawn in
Mm.
from Kansas here really like things to be simple and easy and not a lot of dogma, it seems. But I have introduced the chakras, but anyway, um, so I guess I'm thinking I could get value from this, and you guys, it sounds great, really, everything sounds great, but I'm just wondering if I'm going to be able to manage. I can manage 6 hours a week for sure, and I probably could manage 10. I just don't want to get myself like, for example, I've been gone almost every weekend for almost the last 8 weeks. So it's like I just have to make sure that I really construct my schedule so that I this is just a priority and I say no a lot and I just, you know what I mean? So
I
anyway,
do.
so I saw that.
I would probably offset the anatomy and you would decide if you wanted to do the anatomy just to give yourself a little more space. And you could decide, oh, I'll do the anatomy first because I know you like the anatomy. You could maybe do the anatomy first and then do the yoga or whatever works better with your schedule in terms of what you think will be an
Can I do
intense
it over
season
a
for
year?
you.
Did you say I could do it over a
Yeah,
year?
you can do it over a
Okay.
year.
Okay. So if I did it over a year, it would start in January and be done the following January.
Correct. You'd be
Okay,
done in December.
that might be the way to go for me then. Okay. So and then if you sign up early, you get $400 discount, correct?
450.
450.
450.
Woo! Okay, girls. Now you're talking. Okay, 450. Okay, and then there's also payment plans. Or
Yes.
I can pay it in full. Okay. All right. Well, I am going to look over the syllabus with a fine tooth comb and really have a talk with my higher self about all this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be one of those people who's just out there trying to get every certification and accolade. I want to make sure that this is where I'm supposed to be putting my money and my time for sure. But
Yeah.
I feel like it was in my inbox for a reason. I feel like it resonates really strongly with me. So, yeah. So yeah, you guys seem like really cool chicks. So I mean, you're kind of like cut from the same cloth as me, I think. So yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thanks, Colleen.
So
Sweet.
Okay.
Well, I'll be sending out a follow-up email, which will have the discount code for the 450. So
okay,
I'll send that out so you can kind of mull over that too and have that in your inbox as well.
okay,
So
sounds wonderful.
awesome.
Yeah. So I'll be getting with you guys within the next week for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, I'm glad I got to spend some time with you and meet
Yeah.
you, Mel.
You too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we'll be in touch and I'll let you know in a week.
Sounds good.
Okay, Colleen.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so
Okay.
much. Okay. All right.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Arrivederci.
Okay, and what I think, unless there's something for you, Elaine, that, you have something that came up, I feel like we've covered everything, Rach, yeah?
I think so. Elaine, any other questions? And of course, if questions occur afterwards, you can email us, if you're like, oh, I forgot to ask,
Yeah.
we're happy to chat.
Oh, sure, no problem. And I just wanted to mention that when I was taking a 200 hour, I was watching Rachel, your video a lot. actually with
Oh,
my
really?
classmate, and we studied together. Because you did taught in class in your video. It was in class. You were talking about the movement. Already, I
Yeah.
forgot.
Planes of
Although,
movement. Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that's right.
we actually studied together watching your videos.
Awesome. It's so great. Yeah, I was hoping they would be of service. I was hoping they would be useful because I love teaching anatomy. And it's so sad when people, you know, for whatever reason in their teacher training, sometimes the anatomy doesn't quite hit it. So I'm glad those were of use because I love
Your
it.
video was very helpful and very
Oh,
easy
good.
to understand. So we all enjoyed it. We
Oh,
actually enjoyed
good.
more than our teacher.
Oh, I know, I'm a nerd.
Let me just
Okay.
say, because I have, nothing to do with what she, creates, what she has created for this training is like, I mean,
Uh,
it's so wonderful and elevated and so accessible. So you're getting such a
Mhm.
high level with what, I hopefully across the board, of course, and just talking about what Rachel has created
yeah.
video wise, like so great.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to have a training with you. I just need to figure it out the timeline.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
We're very flexible, Elaine. We can, make it where I almost said that to Colleen, right? You can start, if you started two together and you're like, I think it's too much.
Too much.
We can, like we're real people. We know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm definitely gonna do yoga first and then anatomy later. That way I can concentrate. Study, because it's a lot to study. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not trying to be a teacher, but I just want to learn more deeper level of yoga because I love doing yoga myself.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
let's see
Elaine,
what I can do.
open to teaching? Like if it just, you started to feel it come through you and it felt really fun and healing, do you think you'd be open to it if it?
Sure, like maybe, well, I have a teenager daughter and I have an eighth grader son. If I do it, I will be more into the younger,
Yep.
like teenager, young adult. Because,
Yes,
I noticed a lot of young teenager and young adult having a lot of mental
for sure.
Yeah.
challenges. So that's
Yeah.
more
Right.
for me to go, but it's a lot to study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great to
One
meet
step at a time.
you. Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
help my
great.
daughter first. I think
Yeah.
that's where to start.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And by modeling, by you studying and you taking care, it's amazing how much you're modeling. I think beyond us telling them, hey, do this, it's really like you take care of you, Elaine. You find things that make you shiny and inspired. That's great. That's great lessons for them. Yeah. Okay, I know it's time for
Mhm.
us to go.
All
So
Okay,
right.
thank you
Well,
so much.
so good to meet you. And we'll be in touch. We'll send you out some more information and hopefully touch base in the near future.
thanks, Rach.
All
Bye.
right.
See ya.